Oh, that's a heavy hit. Right rear, right into the wall, head on like that. Doesn't get any harder, Kevin.
That is one of the hardest hits that you can take in a race car when you get turned in the middle of the straightaway, right front into the wall. And it is so violent. And I'm so happy to see him put that window net down quick. I know the car was on fire and he was in a hurry, but you could hear it in his voice how bad it hurt. And you're going to see him shoot up right here.
You hear him go back to the gas, saving grace.
A little dicey down the back straightaway. Cars get a little bit loose and crazy as they get the end of the back straightaway.
I mean, do they think it's 10 to go?
Trouble. Here we go. Here we go.
Jimmy Johnson got turned, and they pile up behind him.
14, 48. I mean, the whole crowd. There's a 10.
Wow.
Lord have mercy.
Now watch Jimmy Johnson outside, second row.
Oh, they got four wide. What happened was the one car, he snuck to the outside of the 48 getting into turn 3, and the 6 tried to go to the inside.
Man, Jeff Gordon nailed this spot.
Here's the big one. Man.
Well, there goes half the field.
Sure does. You can see Joey Logano really aggressive to the rear bumper of the 10. He's going to push him all the way up to the 2, and they just... right before the 10 gets there, there's a little bit of movement, and that little bit of movement, when you make that much contact, turns your car right around. That's exactly what happened to Brad Keselowski and the 10 of Almirola.
And that happens right in front of most of the field.
And that really all started with a big push from Joey Logano. Remember Joey Logano talking on the radio earlier about, you got to tell me when I'm pushing that car and it's going to make contact with the car in front of us. Well, that happened right there with his teammate.
In the closing laps, the 2020 Daytona.
No, Benedetto!
And everybody!
Good.
Oh,
no. Are you kidding me? This is big. Wow. But it...
Boy, it just reminds me of the Clash. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere. A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Outside lane, DiBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straight away to DiBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh, yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard.
Yeah.
Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it, and you know you've got to be more aggressive with those bump drafts.
It looks exactly like the Clash. I mean, all those cars, third turn, all those cars wadded up, sliding up the track with sparks flying. It looked so much like the Clash.
In the closing laps of the 2019 Daytona.
As he was coming around, Bubba Wallace with contact right there. Watching those guys go around turn 3 and 4. The 14's driving up the racetrack. He is sideways. He's loose. Right in the left rear quarter panel goes the 48. The 48 wants to push him, but he needs to push him in the right side. But the 14's driving up the track loose, and that offsets him the wrong way.
When leading the race, coming off for 2 times for them to clean up this massive wild year that would ensue.
Oh, Berry's gone, and he goes up and over. Huge hit for Josh Berry. Eric Jones is involved. There's Austin Cindric.
And get some kind of big move here off turn 4 like Kevin did. Oh, and there
Johnson to the wall with the one of McMurray. 3, 4 cars around. One on its roof. One car hard into the wall.
That was
and it ends in flames and sparks.
Our front row sitter up here.
Outside 48, Alex Bowman doing a little side drafting to the right side of Eric Almirola.
And I see a gap in between Eric and the 20 car.
And look at the push coming from Kyle Busch to his teammate, Christopher Bell. Now that's going to get him to the rear bumper.
Big shot.
Oh,
yep.
He just got over on that right side.
I could tell you another part of that equation, Jeff. These cars, they have skew in the rear ends. That's obviously for speed and make the cars go fast, make them pull up to other cars. It's also, in my experience, makes them squirrely. When that car hits him, it pushes that car into the steer of the rear end, and it can turn you in a heartbeat.
Or so reminiscent when Eric Almirola lost the lead in the closing yards of this race in 2018.
He was along for the ride. As soon as that contact hit, it just turned his car right. He took the words right out of my mouth. Unbelievable. Crushing blow to so many teams, so many efforts that it goes into having fast cars and being at this Daytona 500. That was a lot of heavy hitters in this one.
Teammate Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, 3 Fords. Trouble already. The wall. Slams to the outside. It's 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. He collects Danica Patrick and the 34 of David Reagan.
Trevor Bayne, the 21 car, winner from last year. You see him involved?
Kurt Busch is involved.
I'm a little worried about Jimmy. He took a hard lick right in the door. And there's the HenryCar.com Chevrolet of Kurt Busch.
Try to work both. Oh, trouble.
And there's a crash. Caution is out. The race is over. Trucks up in the air. Nick Sanchez leading when the caution flag came out.
Is that?
Good job, boys.
He is going to bring it back around.
Here. Raja gets into Jack Wood, turns him around. Watch the 17. Just contact from Daniel Dye, turns him over.
Bailey Curry in the middle of that mess. Matt Crafton sliding along. He keeps his truck pointed in the right direction. Look at Matt storm out of there.
Let's ride with Daniel Dye,
our Fox In Race reporter
and cameraman.
Unbelievable impact.
Daniel had no idea there was going to be a truck right in front of him when he went down that straightaway. That is scary looking.
It's just amazing.
But like you said, that's about as soft as you can turn one over.
That's exactly right. And it didn't just keep tumbling either, like we've seen happen so many times. I don't know if
the most stupidest restarts I've ever seen. So many cars spun their tires. It was honestly hilarious to see how many drivers
get around. Whoa! Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more.
All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
Just like I talked about a moment ago, Brad Keselowski spinning down the backstretch with a couple laps to go at Daytona seems to always happen. Keselowski was in a clear shot of
Blaney to the outside, to the inside. Here comes Hamlin up the outside. Wow. Crash into the wall, into the air. Goes Newman.
Upside down.
In a shower of sparks on his roof, Ryan Newman comes across the line, 4th. And comes to rest. Scoring unofficial.
Guys on the bottom.
Now the 5 can go to the outside. They're all trying to build that run that Keselowski did.
Here goes the 3 car.
Will Dillon have help? No, they come down to block. Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him. McDowell in tow. Dillon on the bottom.
The run's on top. Oh! Teammates.
Around they go in a hard crash. Kyle Busch.
Kyle Larson.
Caution is out.
Bubba Wallace is in this. Austin Cindric. Hard hit by Kyle Busch.
Caution's out.
McDowell is first to the line, but will have to go back to the moment of caution, which ends the race. Brad Keselowski is climbing out. He's okay. Joey Logano we see taking off the gloves and the steering wheel.
I think McDowell's the winner of this race, guys.
He was first across the line. NASCAR will review and have to determine the finish at the moment of caution.